Hi everyone, Don Giannatti here, lighting-essentials.com, project52prosystem.com. This weekend, coming up May 19th, I'm doing a talk on lighting as an emotional element over at CapturePhotoCon in Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to be a pretty fun look at how photographers can use light to create emotion or emotional light for more engagement. You know, there's lots and lots of ways to light, you know, headshots and those different things, but occasionally you want to do something that just sparks it up a little bit or introduces some mystery or what have you, and that's what we're going to be looking at there. I thought I'd give you a little preview of what that class is about, and go through about 6 or 7 images here that I think are pretty darn special, and really a nice use of emotional light. Let's take a look at this photograph by Carmen Blake. Carmen is a photographer in France and a portraitist, and she is using a single large box that she actually left in the picture, which is very cool. It becomes an element in the picture. The little rough edge here. We've got this very warm background. The light is just on half of him. If you recognize the style, it's because it's from one of my 8-week classes where we studied different photographers, and the photographers then put their own spin on what they've been inspired by. This was inspired by William Coupon, and just a lovely photograph. But notice how Carmen has placed her softbox to get a little bit of a specular off the background, and as well to have this single softbox follow through over here, presenting some nice background for a very dark shadow. So we have the lighting coming down here, and then we have the outline in silhouette here. I love the little bit of red coming through the back. It's just really well done, and it's one light without fill. So if you're, thinking about doing a shot and not using fill light, maybe that's something that you should consider. We don't have to fill every image. Sometimes we can just let a little bit of mystery or drama come into it. This is Ron Vell's photograph, and Ron used a bright light from the side, but has his subject turning into the shadow here. Notice this shadow really goes dark over here. She's turned into it. Just because you're using emotional light doesn't mean you don't have to do anything else. I mean, what these photographers are doing, obviously with posing and composition and all of those things are very important. Go back up to Carmen's photograph. The fact that she lit him this way gave all this room around him, almost isolates him a little bit, doesn't it? There's a feeling of isolation. So the lighting goes hand in hand with what you're doing. With this photograph in the very bright area over here, it's almost as though she's turning away from the light and going into this darkness. And to have this darkness wrap around, I just thought was really interesting. Gray Gibbs in Colorado made this portrait of his son using some very nice subtle techniques. For one, he's building up his ambient with a large softbox. He then uses a secondary light for some edge work here, and then a third grid spot for the face. Really isolates the face, pulls up all the detail in the shadow, and makes a very melancholy and simply lovely photograph. Gray Gibbs in Colorado. McGunn Media. This is McGunn Media. Anna and Mac Philippe are over in Portugal, and they photographed this young lady, but they brought in the light and then they flagged it off. So we're getting the light is right on the face here, and it flags off, getting a little bit darker back here. But Anna is a really great photographer. She did not let this go dark back here so that the silhouette is seen. You can't just let it melt in there, or at least not for her vision for this shot. She didn't want it melt in. So we have a box right off camera this way, right up basically on camera, and then cards on both sides to make that light a little bit smaller. And notice how it has a feeling of loneliness, of being enclosed. Really, really, really cool. Nietzsche Philip did this photograph. We were studying Skrebneski and Skrebneski's use of very strong black and whites. Also, Skrebneski wasn't known for the world's always having photographs in focus. As a matter of fact, some of the out of focusness of the photographs are what give them their charm. And this is just a really beautiful photograph. All the textures in here. It's a single light. I believe in this case it was a beauty dish, but it's either a single beauty dish or a single octabox. Brought in pretty close, and then dressed the gentleman in black up against a very dark gray background, so there could be a little bit of separation there, and shot. It's just a great shot, really great shot. Rob Marcel Heisler shot this. I'm sorry, Rob Marcel shot this, and the shot is window light here on the floor, and you get a real feeling of loneliness, or what's the word I'm looking for? An abstract feeling of being lost in her thoughts. The light is just around her. That's just what she's aware of. It's really, really well done. And notice that Rob kept all the light up here. He kept the light all the way in back of her, so we never lose this young ballerina to the darkness, ever. She is part of the forward, and the ground is part of the backward. And so the shot is just lovely, and it's a little pool of light, made to look like window light, but honestly, I don't remember. This was a long time ago that Rob did this shot. I don't remember exactly how he did it, but it's either window or a small box tilted down to not let it go so far back there. Most of these shots that we're looking at here, folks, most of the shots are mostly unphotoshopped. One of the things that we work hard in the class on is to try to create the shot in camera. Not that I have any problem with Photoshop or Lightroom or any of those things. I have no problem at all. Do what you need to do. But the discipline of photography can take us into some great areas. If we do it in camera, then we know what we want to fix or what we want to do later when we're in Lightroom. So doing the stuff in camera makes a photographer more deliberate in what they do. Last one up here is Sergio Fialho down in, I believe, Ecuador. Sergio's going to kill me. It's either Brazil or Ecuador. It's Central South America. And this is a photograph with some sunlight up here, just peeking in, and he moved his model right in there. And then this great glorious crop, just cropping right here where her head goes up into the light. It's very, very cool. It tells a little bit of a story. And that's what emotional light does. It's supposed to add a little bit of story. Now, your story is different than my story, which is different than that other person listening here, their story. They're all different. It doesn't really matter, but it does bring a little extra spark of interest to the image, and I really, really like that. So Sergio, Rob, Nietzsche, Anna, Gray, Ron, and Carmen. Some images that I'll be talking more about on on the class that I'm doing this weekend at CapturePhotoCon. If you're in Phoenix, and it's right today, it's hold on, let me check. It is May 17th, just 2 days from now. However, if you're a subscriber to this channel, you may get to see the whole thing when I do it. I'm looking at ways to get it recorded, and we get it recorded, we'll put it up here for you. So again, have a great week. Do hit the subscribe button. It's over yonder, there somewhere over here, and then you'll be notified when I put up new content, which is becoming more often. So I look forward to talking with you again. Have a great week. Have a great day. Have some great shooting. See you next time.